Hi, this is attorney Jamie Miller, and I'm really excited to welcome you to another edition of the Miller Law Chronicles. What's great about today's podcast is that it's my first podcast of 2024, and I'm welcoming a very special guest in David Cohn, known to many of us as D. Cohn. David Cohn is the executive director of First Tee, and we're going to spend about 30 minutes with David today talking about First Tee and its impact using golf on our Wisconsin community. I'm really excited for you to hear this conversation. You'll find out how you or your kids or your family can participate in one of the many First Tee programs, and you'll find out, if you're interested, how you personally can make a valuable contribution to First Tee of Southeast Wisconsin. I appreciate you listening to this podcast and all of our podcasts, and we're able to bring this podcast to you because of all of our members that subscribe to us, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts. It would mean a lot to me if you went in and hit that subscribe or like button. The more listenership and viewership we get, the better podcasting experience we're able to bring to our community. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I know you're going to appreciate getting to know David Cohn a little bit better and also learning more about his wonderful organization, First Tee of Southeast Wisconsin. Hi, this is attorney Jamie Miller, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Miller Law Chronicles. And today we have a really special guest, a good friend, and David Cohn, who's joining us today to talk about himself, which is awesome, which is always hard to do sometimes. But we're also going to talk to David about First Tee of Wisconsin. David is the executive director of First Tee, and an organization that's just doing great things in our Milwaukee community. And so I want to spend a few minutes, get to know David, and also get to know First Tee of Wisconsin. Welcome, David. How are you?
I'm great, Jamie. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you and share a little bit more about First Tee Southeast Wisconsin and the work that we're doing in the community. So thanks for having me on.
It's kind of weird to call you David. I just usually call you D. Cohn. So if you hear
we
me,
can go with anything.
We can go with anything. So in my mind, you're D. Cohn, and just calling you David doesn't fit right. But we'll figure it out as we go through the podcast today. But thank you for joining me on this wonderful snowy day. Actually, this is my first formal podcast for 2024, and I can't think of a better way of starting off the year than spending some time with you. So welcome. Tell me a little bit about D. Cohn. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? What school district were you in? All that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. So I'm, a lifelong Milwaukee area resident. I grew up in Glendale. I went to Nicolay High School. While I was in school, I always had a passion for sports and an interest in getting involved in sports in some way. Really not very athletic myself, so a career in participating in sports or playing sports for a living wasn't really going to work out, and I knew that from a pretty early age. But had an opportunity while I was in high school there to do an internship with the Milwaukee Bucks in their ticket sales office. And through that, you got to see the other side of the sports industry and see what happens on the court or on the field. But there's really a lot of work that goes into making that all happen. And so got to see that, was just working game days, helping with things in back office, and really decided that was something that I was interested in. While I was looking at college and post high school opportunities, looked at a few different schools, Wisconsin, Indiana, Minnesota, lacrosse, applied to all of them. Really, Wisconsin had always been a dream school. The theme with the others was that they had sports management programs and could study working in sports as a career. Didn't get into Wisconsin, decided to go to Indiana, didn't want to wait out the wait list, went to Indiana to study sports management, got there and decided that the program wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Worked hard that freshman year, applied to Wisconsin as a transfer student, got in and ended up in Madison starting sophomore year. While I was there, still interested in working in sports, knew that I could pursue a general degree or a business degree, pursued a market degree in marketing. And while I was there, I was fortunate to be a part of a couple internships. So worked for the athletic department in marketing and promotions while I was a student, and then worked during the summer before junior year and before senior year with the Wisconsin PGA and their junior foundation running junior golf tournaments all over the state. So that was my first introduction to golf stuff. And then when I was looking at post-college career opportunities, I was really looking at two things, golf and college athletics. Fortunately, there was an opportunity available with the Wisconsin State Golf Association to start as an assistant director of rules and competitions. I actually started part-time in the senior year, driving back and forth from Madison to West Dallas, where the Golf Association office is, same office that we currently share with First Tee. And that's kind of where my professional career started post-college. So it's a little bit about the history. Happy to dive in a little bit deeper too into anything if helpful.
Oh, that's great. So you grew up here in Milwaukee. You went to school at Nicolay. What were some of your high school accomplishments or some exciting things that you did at Nicolay? I always get some great insight into people when they talk about their high school years.
I don't, I'm trying to think of like a high school accomplishment. It's
Like
funny where
like
we're
you
actually working.
survived high school is a good thing. You didn't get in
Yeah, I mean, it was a great,
trouble.
and it was a, no, I didn't really get in much trouble. I'm sure
No,
that
you're a
surprises
good
you.
kid. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's funny, we're starting, a few others are starting to plan our 20th class reunion this year. And it's pretty amazing that we've been out for 20 years now. Looking back at it, it was a great experience. It's kind of cool how close so many of us still are. There are friends that I consider my best friends that I'm still very close with from high school. There's also people that I connect with once a year or once every few years. And it's like we hadn't, haven't really lost touch. It's great to stay connected. And I think we had a really good culture of that it was people from a lot of different backgrounds. I think Nicolay, at least at that time, was one of the more diverse high schools in terms of, complete picture of diversity and having students from so many different, life experiences. And that made I feel like that's made a huge difference on me, personally, and certainly applying it in a professional way now too.
Right. And did you play golf in high school?
I actually played 3 years of golf, played freshman, sophomore, junior year. It was probably, as not good as I am about now. And so I never played varsity golf. One of the challenges was we had our class trip to Spain that spring break time frame of senior year, decided to do that and missed some of tryouts for the golf team. And so never played varsity golf. Certainly, know I probably missed out on an experience at that point, but golf in this type of way, or golf in, any sort of competitive way, has not been a huge part of my experience. I'm certainly now close with a lot of people that are competitive golfers, and my range of golf friends ranges from people that are just starting to play for the first time to friends that have competed in majors. And that's actually one of the really cool parts about the game is you can play golf with anybody. I can play golf with and go out and have a really good time with somebody who's just playing for the first time, or somebody that's a professional who's played competitively at the highest level.
Right. And I want to talk to you about First Tee in a second, but tell me a little bit about some of the other organizations that you're involved in Milwaukee, and what you're outside of your work at First Tee, what else is going on in your world these days?
Yeah. So I've definitely been, actually, the path that kind of leads me to First Tee has started out with some volunteering and some nonprofit leadership from a volunteer side. So I've been a youth group advisor for 14 or almost 15 years now. And through that got connected with a number of members of the community. Enjoyed giving back and have enjoyed giving back in time in that capacity, helping with grow teen leadership, and had an opportunity through that to go through a few leadership development programs, and then got involved in board leadership with the Milwaukee Jewish Federation, which has served for about 6 years. And then during that time, also got involved in the board of directors at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center in Milwaukee, and still serving on that board in a leadership role as a vice president. And so, through these different opportunities, kind of got to see what nonprofit leadership looked like from a volunteer standpoint. And then, that in conjunction with the experience I've had within golf, led to has sort of led to this role with First Tee, where I can combine personal and professional interests of getting involved in nonprofits, giving back, making an impact on the community, but finding a way to do it through the game of golf, which I've been around and have seen, what golf can do in terms of creating life skills, values, social connections, skills that transcend beyond the golf course into the workplace and into other social institutions that, I've been lucky to make that a professional career now.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I know that community work and work in the not-for-profit world is something that's really important to you as it is to me. And I'm it's great when you can merge those two passions together and actually do it for a career. So I can see how you were led to First Tee as part of your journey and how great it is that you're actually able to get compensated and feel great about what you do. Give me a little overview of First Tee. Tell me a little bit about its mission, its vision, its goals. Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit about what attracted you specifically to First Tee.
Yeah, happy to. So First Tee Southeast Wisconsin, which is the local chapter that I oversee, is part of a national organization of a network of First Tee chapters across the country and even internationally. First Tee is a youth development organization that uses golf skills or golf experiences to help kids learn life skills and values. So, our mission is to impact the lives of young people by providing educational programs that build character and instill life enhancing values through the game of golf. Each of our chapters, about 150 chapters, are independently operated. So we have our own board of directors, our own 501c3, and everything we do here in the Southeast Wisconsin area, greater Milwaukee and surrounding, we have 10 counties in our service area. Everything we do here is locally supported. So we have to raise, money from local donors. Everything, all of our expenses stay here. We are our own entity supported by First Tee in terms of the curriculum, the programming that we deliver. So it is really, our vision that every kid in Southeast Wisconsin has the opportunity to build their strength of character through the game of golf. We do that through programs at golf courses, mostly summer stuff, expanding into spring, fall, winter, where we have facilities and access to be able to do that. But obviously, it snows here. We can't be outside doing golf stuff year round. So most of that stuff fits into the summer. Then we have a school program where we work with elementary and middle schools to help get golf in the physical education curriculum. So that's empowering teachers with equipment, training, and curriculum to make it turnkey for them to be able to share not just golf and the basics of golf, things like full swing, putting, pitching, chipping with their students, but some of the other core values and healthy habits that you learn that First Tee helps incorporate into that curriculum and into those lessons. And then we have a community program where we work with youth organizations, like Boys and Girls Club or YMCAs, to help incorporate golf and additional activities into the time that they have with kids. We also have other partnership programs where we work with other organizations to try to fit golf into what they do. We have a great partnership with Milwaukee County Parks. We're helping to support Noyes Park Golf Course, a par 3 golf course on the northwest side of town, in providing access to affordable golf and making sure that all kids have a place to play and learn the game. So that's a little bit of what we do. It definitely keeps us busy year round, but it's fun to be able to use all of those different pillars of programming to be able to share golf with kids in our community.
So First Tee of Wisconsin is the name of the chapter that you run, and the territory that your local location covers goes from what area to what area?
Yeah, so we're actually First Tee Southeast Wisconsin. There's three separate chapters in Wisconsin. There's South Central, which is in the Madison area, and Northeast, which is in the Green Bay area. We cover 10 counties. So we go north out of Milwaukee to Ozaki, Sheboygan, over to Fond du Lac, Washington. We have Jefferson, Walworth, Racine, Kenosha. So, still working on, that was a more recent change within our organizational history to add in that additional. They had started as one full First Tee of Wisconsin umbrella. Then it split off into Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay. And we were just First Tee in Milwaukee County, of which then we we expanded to those other 9 counties and continuing to work on expanding our service into those areas.
And how is your organization funded? I know through charitable contribution through many donors. Are you funded at all by the state or any local not-for-profits, or it's strictly, just people that find First Tee is something that's important in their lives?
Yeah, mostly by, individual contributors. We do receive some very generous grants from local foundations, and that also helps support specific program areas. Using the school program for an example of, grants that fund the implementation of the school program at new schools. We have a few different signature events throughout the year. So we do a auction. This year, our auction will take place online around May. We do a golf outing, shocking for a golf organization to do a golf outing fundraiser, but we do a Pro-Am style fundraiser called our Tee to Green Golf Classic, which is July 8th at Tuckaway Country Club. Pair teams of 4 golfers with 1 local PGA professional, club pro. And then we do a golf marathon in the fall where individual golfers sign up to play close to 100 holes or whatever feels like a marathon for them in a single day. And then they raise funds from friends, family, colleagues. So those are our bigger fundraising events. And then we have a corporate program where we ask local companies, businesses to support our work in a few different ways, either through annual sponsorships, supporting these events. We also have sponsorships for our workout at Noyes Park. So a variety of different ways that people and businesses and foundations are involved in our work.
And the perception of golf is that it's a kind of a wealthy people's game, that some people with means. And I'm trying to, maybe you can help me understand the connection between connecting kids or youth with golf, and really talk about, just how it's helping kids mature and understand competition. Really kind of want to get behind the whole theme of the name First Tee, and why is that important?
Yeah. Again, we really think that by providing opportunities for kids to experience the game, those that find an interest and find a passion and continue to pursue it, have more opportunities to learn things that we talk about, things like honesty, integrity, respect, responsibility. That stuff is baked into the game of golf. We include it in the curriculum and the programming that we deliver. So we're talking about that stuff specifically. But when you think about, you're keeping your score, you got to keep your score honestly. That's honesty. You show respect for the golf course when you replace your divots or fix ball marks on the green. There's a lot of things like that that are inherent in the game. And, we make sure that what we do highlights that. There are definitely accessibility challenges within the game. What we're focused on doing is making sure that we can provide opportunities for kids to try it, and then provide more opportunities for them to follow a passion that they might develop. Through our partnership with Milwaukee County Parks at Noyes, we're providing additional access. We make sure that no kid that participates in our program is turned away because of financial need through scholarships or reduction of registration fees. We provide equipment. We give out 53 sets of junior equipment, just participants in our own programs. Additionally, we give out sets of equipment, bags, clubs to high schools, local high schools that need it. So we've been growing a partnership with Milwaukee Public Schools and the Milwaukee City Conference teams to use our space at Noyes, work with us on training, and then get equipment for all their players. So, we think the game of golf is changing. It's becoming more accessible. We want people to feel comfortable in the game. I heard the current USGA president share a comment that golf is the most intimidating sport or activity from the outside, but it's the most welcoming from the inside. And so, what we do is play a role in making sure that golf feels accessible. And, through our programs and through our partnerships, I think we're achieving that in a variety of different ways.
And what does success look like? Like when you look back at 2023 was a great year because.
Yeah, I think success is reaching more kids. It's reaching new kids. It's reaching kids that wouldn't otherwise have a golf experience. It's truly like smiles. There's something about seeing a kid hit a good golf shot for the first time that is meaningful. Long-term impact. The more kids we get into it, the more lifelong golfers we develop. But I also think it's important to think about the opportunities that they have because we've broken down that intimidation factor. I think about somebody who's in a new job and gets asked to play in a company, in a foursome that the company is supporting in a charitable golf outing. And, the boss asks them to play, and then they can now say yes to that opportunity. And now they're getting to spend different time with a supervisor or an executive on the golf course because they're familiar with the game of golf. So, we measure it by participation, the number of schools we're working with, the number of students we're reaching, but it's that lifelong impact that's important.
Right. And what's fabulous about golf is it's known as maybe an individual sport. And, so for the kids specifically who may not be the best athletes, may not be the best player on the basketball court or on the soccer field, and kind of feel when they try those sports that it can be defeating sometime because they're not getting the great feedback. But with golf, you're going out there and, a victory is hitting that, making that 10-foot putt or that 20-foot putt or just being out there. And I think there's a lot to be said about a sport where you're really competing against yourself and you can feel that growth individually, which I think, these different sports just give people totally different senses of accomplishment. And golf is just really a fascinating sport in that success is really measured by your own personal growth versus, there's a team aspect of golf a lot, but just that individual growth in sports and athletics is something that golf provides. And it could be that sport or the ability for a kid to get engaged in golf that just gives them a total different experience than perhaps other sports that they've been involved in that may have not worked.
Yeah. So, as a individual activity, it's really a good opportunity. We talk about this with the kids is, to learn about yourself and to, think about how golf reflects you as a person. You're thinking about skill development. You're working on getting better as a golfer individually. You have a scorecard. It literally tells you, how you're doing individually. There are certain team aspects to it when you're playing if you're playing on a high school team or a college team, but for the most part, it's an individual activity. And, it's also something that you can do pretty much for the rest of your life. I've spent time around 80-year-olds, that are still playing golf, that are late 80s. And, there's nothing stopping somebody from going out to a golf course by themselves and getting paired up with, another group of 1, 2, or 3 other people. You can't really do that with a lot of other sports. You can show up at a basketball court and shoot hoops by yourself, but you're not really keeping score. You can't really play football by yourself. Soccer by yourself is a little tough. So, golf is certainly different in that way. And part of the reason that, what we do works is that you can set somebody up for that opportunity to do that for the rest of their life.
And tell me, do you have any stories, success stories, individuals that you can recollect that where first he's really impacted the life of this person and why?
Yeah, we've had a number of alumni in our history that the opportunity to be involved in First Tee has really made a difference. I think about one alum who was a longtime participant and who went on to Marquette University and was an Evans Scholar, there. So that Evans Scholar the Evans Scholarship's a separate program for caddies, people that caddy, and then based on caddy participation and academic record and extracurriculars, among other things, are provided a 4-year tuition scholarship. So, that person was introduced to golf through First Tee, was a longtime participant in First Tee, and then went on to get the Evans Scholarship and has been working in First Tee, has been working in golf as well. I ran into somebody who was a longtime First Tee participant who he and his family have opened up a physical therapy clinic just in Milwaukee, just outside of downtown. Some of my favorite alumni stories have been those that have come back to be coaches with us and have participated in giving back. They get summer employment and then they work as First Tee coaches. So, even small things like we had the MPS City Conference Championship out at Noise that we helped with this last year, and a girl got her hole-in-one out there and her family was out there. And so, getting to see things like that is pretty cool. And so we appreciate the opportunity to be a part of creating those type of memories.
And I understand that there's different programmings, whether it's through the schools, through the different teachers and coaches that may be aware of First Tee or the Boys and Girls Club. But if we have listeners that are, that they want to get their kid involved in golf, is there a way for them to contact First Tee to see what opportunities First Tee can assist them with as like an individual family?
Yeah, absolutely. And our summer programs or our golf course programs are all basically parent registered. So, we open up registration, parents sign their kids up. Those opportunities, will open here in the next few months for this summer. We are running a few over the winter at PGA Tour Superstore in Brookfield. They've been an awesome partner in providing winter space for us. We'll have some new programs in spring out at Noise Park. And then the bulk of our season is in summer. And this last year we were at 6 locations. So we ran programs at Noise Park, at Lake Park on the east side of Milwaukee, in partnership with Brown Deer, Dretska, and Curry through the Wauwatosa Rec Department. And we also had a pretty strong and successful program up in Fond du Lac, Rolling Meadows Golf Course. So, there's a number of opportunities for parents to get their kids involved in our stuff. But if anybody's interested in learning more about First Tee or having a conversation, my contact information is on our website. They can always just send a general email. We'll make sure it gets routed to the right person. Our website is just firstteesoutheastwisconsin.org.
Great. And so someone who's interested in some of the programming can go to the website, but also if someone's interested in donating, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, same. Website has all the information about the different ways to give. Got a whole get involved section for ways to give, either through individual contributions, our events, corporate opportunities. All that information's on our website. Again, if anybody wants to have an individual conversation, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to share more about First Tee and how those individual donors are important and truly crucial to supporting our mission.
I really appreciate your time today and learning more about you and your story. And I think you've been at First Tee for how many years now? 7, 8?
It's about 7 now. Yep.
That's remarkable. That's a real testament to you, a testament to the organization to really hold leadership for that much time is really fabulous. That consistency is so important for any organization. And I really appreciate your time, David, and for joining us and for helping us to learn more about First Tee, how people can get more involved from a participant standpoint and also from a donor standpoint. But thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Yeah, Jimmy, really appreciate the opportunity to chat, and thanks for sharing our mission and being an advocate for what we do.
Great. Thank you.